Hello, I'm Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be, well, let's talk about how this came to be. About a week and a half ago, Mario contacted me about a fishing reel or rod and reel combo that he had spotted on I think it was Amazon Marketplace, and asked me if I knew anything about it. And I looked at it and I said, I've never seen anything like that at all. And I mean, it's similar in design and stuff, I guess, as far as concept to like the old Ronco pocket fisherman. But this is a St. Croix fishing machine. And I'd never seen one before. And it got me so enthused about the idea that I went looking on eBay and I found one. And I got it at a great price. I got this one and a parts reel. So it was just a great deal. So I went ahead and jumped on it. So you guys kind of have Mario to blame for this. The fact that I'm actually doing it tonight, you've got Chris Jenkins to blame for that because he said, hey, I really would like to see that. So I was planning on doing this Martin Miracle-Matic 500 tonight, but instead we're going to go ahead and step right into the St. Croix fishing machine. So let's get this thing started. We're going to start off by removing the handle, and this handle is already loose. And this one, it's supposed to have a red, it's like a sticker, a foil sticker in the end of it. This one's damaged. There is a good one on the, I think, on the parts reel. So I think we're going to take that one and put it on this one. Okay, we're going to start off by taking off the handle. Now let's see about taking off the cover. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Very dirty inside. Well, I've seen worse, but there's a lot of old moss and stuff in there that comes off the line. We'll have to scrub that up, get it clean. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, what? Okay, that's the knob I just took off for the handle. Let's go ahead and remove this nut. I believe that that's going to be a 10 millimeter, but I'm not sure about that. No, it's not. Let's see what we got here. There we go. That is a 8 millimeter. Okay, I'm gonna hold the the rotor, unscrew the nut. Let's take that off. All right, there goes. Okay, this is a very typical rotor. There's not much to it, it's pretty simple. Let's take a look, see if we've got any line cuts. We do not. There's no line cuts in there. Okay, and okay, it appears that the spool is held on by these two screws. I think we're going to come back to that in a little bit. Let's go ahead in the meantime and pull out these screws that hold the side plate on. Okay, we got those out. And nothing budges yet. So let's move on to the other side. We've got 4 more on this side. I'm going to keep them in a separate pile, although it appears that they're the same screws. Oh, that's interesting. They were actually like wood screws. Oh, that's kind of cool. Don't often see a screw designed like that on a fishing reel. These things originally came in like a zippered pouch for travel. Okay, now this side comes off. Okay, let's see what we've got here. All right, there's our main gear and our anti-reverse, both. Let me zoom in on that a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. We'll come back and disassemble this in a little bit, clean it up. Let's get back to this part. Now, I've been really curious as to what this was right here, this rangefinder. That's the part that had me the most curious. It's like, what is that thing? Like a big brake? Okay, now it slides out like so. And you can see underneath the rod blank itself. Now this particular, okay, and we've got some information on here. It says St. Croix Corporation, 1976, Minneapolis, Minnesota, made in USA, Korea, Japan, Philippines, and a U.S. patent number. Okay, so this thing was made in 4 different countries. I wonder if different parts were made in different countries, or if they just built them in 4 different countries. I wouldn't know. Now, I really thought when I first saw this that this part here, it sideways, it almost looks like it would fold down inside the rod, but it doesn't do that. So we do have a screw back here, and I don't know what its purpose is unless it holds the rod into the housing. Let's take it out and find out. Okay. All right, the screw does actually go through the rod. But yeah, it looks like you could actually you could take the rod out. So if you actually physically broke the rod, I guess you could take it out and replace it. Well, that's pretty slick. There's nothing wrong with this one except a broken tip, so I'm going to leave it in. But that's kind of neat. I've never seen a rod built like that before. Of course, I've never seen one built like this at all. So I'm going to, the covering on this has slid forward or shrunk, and it's causing the screw to bind, which is keeping me from being able to take it all the way out. But I'm going to go ahead and give that a push and see if I can push it through that. There we go, and get that screw out. I would kind of like to go ahead and take the rod out just for cleaning's sake, if it will come out that way. Okay, this sleeve holds it locked in place. And, okay. All right, well, the only way you would be able to take it completely out is if you remove the eyes. So we're not going to do that. Okay. Interesting, though. Interesting concept. But you could remove the eyes off of each one of these sleeves and do that. But let's go ahead and put all this back. And this piece slides forward and locks that the rod into the handle. I'll wipe this off a little bit. Okay, we're going to put it back. Okay, and we're going to put the screw back in. I guess I could have taken the parts reel apart that way, but this one is complete, so I wanted to see how it works. All right, there's the rod ready to go back again, and let's take a look at the rest of this reel assembly. Let's put that over to this side, and let's see what we got here. Okay, we've got this range finder, and be interesting to see what it does and how it does it. Okay, it's spring loaded right there. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take this thing the rest of the way apart. That's you know how I am here at Young Martin's Reels. We like to take things apart. So let's go ahead and see if we can remove this button off of here, which I'm not sure that the pin will push out, but we'll try it. Give me something to brace that against. And let's see if we can push the pin out. We did. There we go. Well, we mostly pushed it out. Let's get a grip on it again. There we go. That's ready to pin so that the button will come out, so we can clean this up right here. All right. The rangefinder itself. Okay, okay, the button holds the rangefinder in, keeps it from coming out. But now that the button is out, now we can, I believe, take the rangefinder out. Yeah, we can. Let's go ahead and grab hold of this spring right here. We're going to unhook that right there, lift it out, and now we should be able to take the rangefinder button out like that. Okay? That's got the, oh, by the way, now, with the spring off, let me come back and show you exactly what the rangefinder does and how it's supposed to work, it looks like. Okay. When it's properly installed, okay, when you, let's say you're in this position and you cast, okay, the line is going to come unwound off of this spool out to wherever you've cast. Well, once you've cast to that point and you know that's where you want to go, then what you would do is you would flip your rangefinder forward. See, it's got the on-off right here. You would flip it forward to the on mode. When that happens, look, see this bar? The bar moves out across the line. Let me zoom in where you can see this better. Okay, there's the off position, so that the spool feeds as normal. Once you get the line cast out where you want it to, you slide the rangefinder on, and now that drops this across the spool so that now when you wind it, the line is going to wind on top of that bar. And now when you cast it out, it can only go out to where it comes out and hits that bar, and then it's going to stop. So interesting design. I don't know that I would have ever used that feature, but it is interesting how it works. That was one of the big curiosity points I had, was what in the world that thing was and how it worked. Okay, let's go ahead now, take out these 3 screws, which appear to be holding the spool on. Okay, spool comes out like so. Along with that comes the axle shaft, which I think probably could have come right out the back. And there we have it. Well, I'd like to say the St. Croix rangefinder was completely taken apart, but it's not. We haven't taken this apart, but I don't believe we need to. It's clean, and I believe that most of them that are going to be clean will work like that. Okay, so we will scrub it up and lubricate it, but we still haven't taken this main gear with the drag apart yet. So let's see what we've got over here. Okay, the anti-reverse is going to hold this so that you can unwind it or unscrew it. Okay, there's the nut for the drag. There is a tension washer, keyed. Is there any other washer there? No. Okay, let's slide this out. Okay, there went our anti-reverse. It fell out. Let's see if there's anything here. Okay, we've got a sleeve here. Okay, slide the sleeve out like so. Okay, everything else there is solid. All right, now besides the sleeve, we've got our anti-reverse cog right here. And that will not turn on the shaft because there's a keyway on it. So that is locked to the shaft. Okay, there is a drag washer right here. There we go. And I'm not sure that's supposed to be oiled, but it was heavily oiled and greased. Okay, and then this shaft, oh, wait a minute, there's another drag washer. Now, why would there be 2 here unless somebody's taking this apart? Okay, there's 2 drag washers. Take this off on the inside. There's our drag washer on the inside. All right. So I'm not real sure why they had 2 drag washers on here, unless maybe they were shimming it. But, wow. This is a pretty neat little reel. rod combo. I'm going to scrub all the parts up, and we're going to come back and reassemble this thing. Parts have all been cleaned now, and we're ready to start reassembling. And we're going to start off by putting the spool back in. It sits in like this, and it see this square right here? Well, let's back this out just a little bit. There's a block right here. It's going to fit into that. So rotate it around. Make sure you lock it into that block, because that's going to be where the rangefinder goes through. Okay, with that in position, we should be able to put these 3 screws back in. All right, with that done, one place I forgot to clean. I have a tendency to do that. There we go. It should be nice and clean inside now. And that's where our axle shaft is going to go. And this axle shaft will insert from the back side right here. Okay. If we want this to turn really smooth and easy, what we'll do is we'll oil this. If you want it to have a little more durability, you would go ahead and grease it. But we're going to go ahead and oil it because I want it to spin freely. And I don't mind taking things back apart periodically. And that, yeah, it got metal on metal there. I think it's going to be better off if I go ahead and grease that. It feels a little binding. Let's go ahead and grease it and put it in and see if that doesn't improve the feel a little bit. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, and now we're going to put some grease here on this axle shaft where it slides in and out. I'm not so much worried about greasing the pinion gear just yet, but we will get to that. All right. With that done, let's go ahead and see about putting our rangefinder back in. First off, it's got some fishing line tied around it. Oops, so we can get rid of that. Okay, that's gone now. All right, and the rangefinder, this is the end, that's the side that goes in to interact with the spool. So we start off by dropping the back side in first, bring it all the way back, and then slide that part in. All right, once we've got that, we've got to be able to put the spring on it. And we might want to consider putting the spring at least on this end of it before we do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and hook it on. See which side is which. It doesn't seem to have a preference. There we go. Okay. With that hanging down, we'll go ahead and drop that in first. Then drop this in. There we go. And we'll see if this is the right location for the spring, and I believe it is. There we go. Spring is now in position. There we go. Okay. That's got the spring installed. Okay. With that done, I think we're ready to go ahead and build up this side plate. So that will take our crankshaft, our drag washer, followed up by the main gear. And on this particular instance, we have 2 drag washers. Then we're going to have our anti-reverse. And I'm not sure which way it came out because I wasn't paying that close attention, but I'm pretty sure it's this way so that it can rotate clockwise and then catch coming backwards. And that appears to be the way that I have it. With that done, we've got this sleeve that will go in. Let's grease the sleeve inside and out. Slide the sleeve in like so. Then we're going to come back. We're going to install our anti-reverse claw, and I believe it's going to go on this way. No, it's going to go this way. Like so. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of oil to it to help it pivot easily. And then we're going to add some grease to this shaft. And we're going to stand this up like so and slide this in. And then we're going to see if I've got it in the correct orientation. If we do, I do not. Okay, so now I got to figure out which one I have backwards. Is it the claw? Okay, no, it's not the claw. The claw seems to be in the correct position. It seems that I have the paw or cog in the wrong position. Okay. Once we know that I've got it right, I'll show you. Yeah, there we go. Nope. Okay, so now I have them both backwards. Before I had the claw backwards and I changed the paw. So now I have them both backwards. All right, so we'll set this up the way I originally thought this went, which is like this. Okay, and we will turn the claw over so that the claw is fitting this way, like so. Okay, you see how they go? And now let's put them together, and I believe I now have it right. There we go. Winds forward, and it binds coming backwards. All right, so we got that in position. We're going to now put the tension washer on, and then we're going to screw down the drag nut. Okay. And there we go. Set that over to the side. Now we're going to come back and we're going to install the reel assembly back into the housing. And it just, oh, wait a minute. I got to put the button back on. Okay, the button's going to go right here. Like there. Okay, there's the button. Goes in this position here, but let's go ahead and grease where it's going to pivot. There and there. Let's set it in position. And let's see about reinstalling the pin. Without it falling all the way through. Okay. Get a good look on the inside. There's one side. Get it lined up on the other side, and we get it to come through just until it's flush. Like so. You push too hard and you'll push it back out the other side. There's our button. Okay. With that done, now we're ready to install it back in the case. Okay, slide this back in. Line the holes up. And let's start putting them back in. All right, that's everything on one side. Now we're ready to come back and install this on the other side. Now before we can do this, it's time to go ahead and grease up the gear. And you want to try to keep it off of the drag washer area. I really think for most of these to work properly, they kind of have to be mostly dry. In my early days, I wanted to oil them all. And I have found that they tend to work better with those phenolic washers if you don't oil or grease them. All right. Let's go ahead and slide this part in. Like so. And apparently I didn't clean that side of that off well enough. So let me fix that. There. Now we'll put these 4 screws back in. All right. Our rangefinder is working properly. Our drag is working. Hang on, let me get the other handle. And neither of these nuts are in all that great a condition, but they will do. Let's see if we can tighten that down just a scooch. Okay, there we go. Not bad. All right, now we're going to put the rotor, well, got to clean the rotor out. Okay, we're going to put some grease on the button in the rotor, or it's going to rotate on this top up here, and we're going to add some oil underneath this slide bar because it's really difficult to try to get any grease underneath there. Let's go ahead and put the rotor on, like so. Install the nut. Tighten the nut down. And now, when we push the button, this rotor should stay up. When we rotate it around, it should drop and the pin should come out. And push it in, pin goes in, button, rotor stays up. Rotate it around, boom, it drops down, just like it's supposed to. All right, come back now. We've cleaned out the cap. All right, come back and line up the cap in these slots. Kind of difficult to see. There we go. And then tighten it down. And there, well, it helps if you run the line out where it's supposed to be. Okay. Let's put the line in. And now put the cap on. Push the button. You got free spool out. Okay, now let's say we throw the rangefinder in. Now we can't pull any more line out. But when we wind it back in, it's going to come back in. And now when we go to throw it again, it should go only out to where we set the rangefinder before. And stop. Boom, there you go. There's the end. Now, you turn the rangefinder off and it will continue to come out. Interesting fact, you do not want to try to turn off the rangefinder while you've got it wound in. You want to wait until you're cast. Otherwise, it binds it up and it will leave just a ball of loose line on your spool. All right, let's check the drag. There we go. We have drag. Can we loosen it up? We did. Can we loosen it more? Loosened it a lot, yeah. Tighten it up more. Can we tighten it up to the point where you can't hardly pull it out? We certainly can. Okay, there you have the St. Croix Fishing Machine. Rod and reel combination. The only thing left to be done to this before I can take it out fishing is I've got to put a tip on it. And I've got plenty of tips. So I'm going to put a tip on it. And I think next trip out fishing, I think I'm going to take this thing out and at least perform some casts with it. I don't know that I'll be trying to catch some big redfish with it, but I think that I will put some stuff on there, maybe see if I catch some little ones. This is a interesting little reel. It's not the world's most comfortable thing, but it is solidly built. When I saw it, I just knew I just had to find one and try to buy it, and I did. So Mario, I thank you. Chris, I thank you for recommending that we do it tonight. So it's done, and we'll see if I get the video actually out tonight. We'll see. But for now, if you like the video, please hit the like button. Here's what happens, folks. When you hit the like button, it changes the algorithm and it brings my channel out to where more people can find it. Right now, if you search for this St. Croix rod, there may be 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that show up in front of mine because they've got more likes out there than I do. So if you'll hit the like button, I would appreciate it. It kind of brings it out where more people can find it, makes it easier for them to do so. If you didn't like it, hey, by all means, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like, and I'll see what I can do to fix that. And for now, oh, by the way, I'm only 7 subscribers short of my first 1,000 subscribers. So I got to 500 in a year, and now in 6 months later, I almost knocked out the other 500. So it's kind of fun. But look, numbers is not what Young Martin's Reels is about. My intent is when I'm long dead and gone, somebody who finds an old fishing reel can pick it up and go, hey, I think there's a thing on YouTube about how to rebuild that. And they can go pull it up, and they'll be able to take a look at it, figure it out, and put it back to use. So for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.